Hello, Cindy.
Hi, Chanel.
How are you?
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm good.
Period. So what movies are we
Period
getting
and
into today?
We are going to be talking about Femme from 2023 and Baby Girl from 2024.
Oh my God. It's like we both
Yes.
watched those movies in preparation for this. Wow.
That's exactly what it is. But you want to know something that's actually so crazy that I'm going to preface?
Yep.
One of these movies I was excited to watch and ended up being disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
And the other movie I wasn't excited to watch and I ended up being so surprised that it was such a good film.
You see, put in your guesses in the chat below.
Yes. Try to guess what I'm talking about between Baby Girl and Femme.
Yes.
And if you've seen both these films, I hope you agree with me and know what I'm talking about.
You see, I have similar vibes to you, except
Yeah.
one of these films, I was so ready and I had a feeling it was going to be so great, and then it was.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I was like, this is going to be a good movie. A good movie. And then I was disappointed.
Yes. Yep. So let's, in no particular order, we should start with Baby Girl,
Baby
in my opinion.
Girl. I'm fine with that.
Yes. Okay. And I would like to put a disclaimer out to the people who are listening. Chanel and I know that the movie stars Nicole Kidman and Harris Dickinson.
Yes.
But as you will listen to us talk about this film, we will slowly start referring to Harris Dickinson as Harrison Ford Jr.
Yes.
Just a little context for me. I am always a person of good intentions, but sometimes the things that I say come off way out of left field. So when I was trying to talk to Chanel about this film, I kept calling Harrison. Mm-hmm. And Chanel was like, "Are you talking about Harrison Ford?" And I'm like, "No, Harrison from the movie." And to come to find out that his name is Harris Dickinson, but Harrison Ford rolls just so nicely off the tongue. But to differentiate between the actual Harrison Ford and Harris Dickinson, we just added the junior at the end. So,
and here's the thing.
Harrison Ford.
Here's the thing. Cindy's not crazy because I was also calling him Harrison. I was also calling him Harrison. I wasn't doing Harrison Ford Jr. because that's extra, but I did call him Harrison. I thought his name was Harrison. We had a few conversations about him because we were watching these movies, and you've corrected me when I said Harrison. I've corrected you when you said Harrison, and we're like, you know what? He's Harrison Ford Jr. from now on. So
Yes.
especially Harrison. That name, that's his name.
It just rolls off the tongue.
It's his name.
Like, yeah, Harris, like that. He is the first Harris I've ever encountered, and that's the
like a last name.
He
has a last name as a first name.
It's giving. Well, Dickinson is not. I was about to say it's giving two first names, but I guess it's
two
giving
last
two last
names. Yeah,
which I don't think we've ever come across before.
I don't think so. People normally have two first names, so he's special.
But yes, so Harris and Harrison, same person. We will do our best to be correct, but
no. No.
You can't tell the audience that.
We're not.
You gotta.
No.
Okay. Anyway, so yes, the movie stars Nicole Kidman and Harrison Dickinson.
Ford Jr. Okay.
And the general premise is, it's giving. A sub-dom relationship?
Yeah.
It's a sub-dom relationship, but it's also an age gap relationship, but different to what society has normalized us to believe. The age gap is the woman, being Nicole Kidman, is older than Harrison's character, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's where you kind of get the different sort of concept. And also, you would assume that since Nicole Kidman is older, that she'd be the dom in this relationship, but she's actually the sub to Harrison's dom, right?
Yes.
So the whole movie kind of plays on that theme. I feel like you get the general gist from the film just by that. I don't think we necessarily need to go play by play outside of the scenes that we're going to talk about that we liked. But overall, it's a sub-dom relationship between an older woman and a younger man. And it's also a bit of like a corporate hierarchy type thing because Nicole Kidman is the CEO of a huge company and Harris is a intern.
Yep.
Right. So yeah, if you don't mind, I think I want to start with a scene that I like, and I'm not going to remember this film chronologically.
Yeah, me neither.
But
yeah,
we'll just talk about scenes because I know the scene didn't happen first, but the scene that I thought was actually outrageous was when she shows up. She shows up to like a team happy hour. Right? So the interns are there, they're on one side, and the higher ups are on the other side, like at the table actually eating a meal. And they're so surprised that Nicole Kidman's character, I think her name is something like Ronnie.
It's Rami.
Or something.
You were very close.
Rami.
Yep.
Oh my gosh! That's really exciting.
Good job.
That I was that close. But Rami typically doesn't come. So she's there, they're trying to order her something, and the waiter drops a huge glass of milk. And Chanel, the first thought that I had when I saw that was that milk is thick. It's giving whole milk.
Rich.
That was some whole milk. And I'm sure that's probably not real milk. Most people are lactose intolerant, so just giving someone a whole glass of whole milk is a lot. But my next thought was your bowels. Like, girl, you're about to be on that toilet because that is some thick milk.
He might be into that.
The bowels?
Yep.
You can't see me right now, but I'm looking at you.
I felt the pregnant pause.
Yeah. Anyways, from that scene, everybody at Nicole's table or Rami's table is talking about like who gave the milk, and she looks up at Harris's character, and I'm trying to guess. Is his name Spencer?
Samuel. I can give you 1/4 credit on that.
Hey, I'm actually surprised I was that close. Spencer was like a shot in the dark. But they make eye contact, Samuel and Rami picks up that glass and chugs it. And then afterwards, when Rami is left paying the bill, which we need to bring back, inviting our CEO bosses out to meals. And then because they can make the most money. Yes, because I want to eat. If I'm going to be working my butt off for you, you should be treating me.
Period.
Yes. So let's bring that back. But as she's paying for the bill, he whispers baby girl, which I think is the only time in the entire film that he refers to her as baby girl, or it says good, or no, he doesn't say baby girl.
Yeah, I think he said good girl. There's another time where he says baby girl. I don't remember when that happened. He says it one time. Okay. So yeah.
But that sequence, I think to me, that was the catalyst for like when they actually got really serious about that relationship.
Ooh,
was just like
so serious
right there.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's one scene that I enjoyed from the film.
So I have two-parter, okay? Because the
second
we started talking about this movie, I remembered something, and it made me giggle inside of my head. So the first part, when they basically decide to do this affair thing, and she goes to the hotel with him, and then
the motel.
Yeah, the motel. Yeah, the first time, and he basically has her get on her knees and treats her like a dog, essentially.
Yes.
Right? And so later on, I think this was after, I can't remember what happened, but there was like a strain in their relationship for some reason. I can't remember what it was, but this was the part where she was having like a meeting or something, and he texts her roof, and then she goes up to the roof to meet him. You remember that scene? And then they talk about whatever. So after I got done watching that movie, I was watching it with some friends. One of my friends said that she thought when he texted, you gotta stop laughing. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Okay, I can do this. So one of my friends said that she thought that Samuel texted her roof as in a dog barking instead of her going to the roof. And I was cackling because that's so funny. But the way she just took that as, okay, I'll go to the roof. Oh my God. So that was unintentionally funny.
That was unintentionally funny. I'm going to say this. Woo. That movie, I don't know if it was classified as a comedy, but there's just parts about it that were just hilarious.
Yeah.
Was it a comedy?
No. I don't think so.
Oh.
No. I'm agreeing with you, but I don't think so.
Yes. Okay. Woo. Oh my gosh.
Baby girl genre.
Yes. Oh.
It's an erotic thriller. It's not a comedy.
What was so thrilling about that?
Maybe them fighting at that wasn't thrilling either. I don't know.
They should have been an erotic comedy.
That Cindy, you're having a good idea right there. I like that. Brain blast. Yes. I like that.
But also, I was about to say, I mean, we're going to get into it, but I don't even feel like they deserve the title of erotic because they did not go where they needed to go with that film.
Not even a little bit.
We'll get there. Another scene that I really enjoyed, which is, I just find it so funny because so many people are like, oh my gosh, do you see that scene where Samuel's dancing with his shirt off?
Oh, bro.
With his 2 tattoos? And I thought that to me. And I'm gonna add this. I understand because I saw an interview with Harrison talking about that scene. Yeah. It was like that scene was really awkward. So I want to preface that I understand it was awkward, but it seemed
awkward.
It seemed so random and awkward. It gave that, and it was supposed to. I think it was supposed to give like sultry and sexy, and it wasn't giving that for me.
It just felt off tone wise, and so you just couldn't buy into it.
Right. But that scene, because I'm replaying it in my head, but I'm putting different music to it. And it's such a great scene.
Oh, my God.
When you're trying to, like, match his moves, you know?
Yes.
That scene was fun. Also, overall, that sequence with them, like, not in Motel 6, but now in, like, a 5-star hotel when they're trying to have this secret rendezvous. And they try to show that this is happening for a while. You don't have a frame of time.
Yeah.
They just kind of show that they keep coming back to this room.
Honestly, the movie feels like it takes place over like 2 days. Like it doesn't feel like a lot of time.
But at the same time, he's an intern.
Yeah.
So he's technically, if this is a summer internship, it's only really 2 to 3 months. So it is a fast-paced relationship. Like they kind of just jumped into it.
Yeah.
So that was another good scene. Do you have?
Yes.
I have one more. If you have, okay, you have.
Let's
more.
see if I take yours. The scene in the club. Dun 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 dun.
Oh, I didn't like that scene.
Dun, dun. Okay, let me tell you something.
Okay.
Tone wise, it did not make sense for the film, and it felt
at all
misplaced,
random.
But the longer it went on, the more into it I was in the movie theater like dun, 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 dun,
girl, you love me. I'm not gonna even front. You love yourself a good club song because you were jamming.
Why do I have that song in my library right now? Yes. Why do I listen to that song regularly?
Yeah,
that
like I'm trying to think like Baby Tate Jersey. You like a lot, and you also vibe a lot with Charlie XCS's album, and I would say all those are like club songs,
club bangers. Okay.
Yes.
So yes. So if you take that scene out of the movie, 5 out of 5. If we would have put that scene in a movie where that made sense, 5 out of 5. But I agree. In the film, me and my friends were looking at each other like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But then I started dancing, so I got into it. So yes.
Oh, Chanel, I remember why they called it quits. I remember.
Oh, okay.
Because it's attached to my next favorite scene.
Yes.
So I'm going to bring up a qualm before I talk about my favorite scene, right? So my qualm is when we cast actors as older than the age of the role that they're playing.
Yes.
Right? because even though Samuel's character is 20, because he's about to graduate, so let's just say he's 21, right? He's old enough to be in a bar, but still in school. He's about 21, right? But then the actual actor is 28, 29, right?
Yep.
And in my opinion, he looks 28, 29. So the scene that I also enjoyed was the scene when he showed up to her family's like vacation house.
Yes.
And was hanging out with her husband and children.
Yes.
Claiming that I'm going to give you your iPad back. And then she like locks him in her car. Crazy.
Oh God.
And then she proceeds to say, I can't do this because you're really young and you're really impressionable, and like you're practically insinuating like you could be my son and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
That scene to me again was kind of funny because he was like,
Oh
let
my
me out
God.
of this car.
Yes.
Do you know how many
Let me out.
times somebody like, right, a friend has accidentally locked the car door? You can get yourself out of the car. If you really wanted to leave,
Let me out.
you could leave. Right?
Yeah.
But that scene in itself, I think, was trying to show the age difference of like, I think he is closer to her daughter's age. Like her daughter is giving like sophomore, junior in
15, 16.
Yeah, in high school, and he's giving senior in college. So if that's the case, it's like 6 years.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like she could easily be his mother. So that was adding to that. And so you could really see that in that scene. But again, it just showed his naivete.
Nice.
Because why are you going to go to your lover's vacation home, sit with her husband and kids, and not think that this is an issue after she said we need to try to keep this secret and keep this separate?
Yeah.
And then you're getting upset when like he was throwing tantrums, like you're getting upset because she wants to call it off.
Yep.
But it's not supposed to be that serious. So again, I found that to be hilarious. I found it to be really funny, and that was another scene that I enjoyed.
Yes. So my next scene is when the husband finds out and he catches them in the vacation home, right? Or like the pool house, whatever it was.
Yes. Yeah. After he tells her to leave because she admitted that she was having an affair. Yes.
And so he catches them in the act, and then he tries to play like tough guy, but he really does not have that in him as a person. Nope. And so it ends up being like a, so hey, how's it going type of vibe. Because he tries to fight Samuel, and that doesn't work. You know, he fails.
Not at all.
And so he ends up getting hurt, and then they're all just kind of like sitting there in the aftermath like, okay.
Yep.
So I guess this is our lives. So
yeah. Yeah.
That scene
well,
was
not
pretty
even
funny.
sitting there. Samuel leaves. He like patches them all up.
Yeah.
Because he beats up the husband, and then he patches them up, and then he goes, "Hey, I gotta go." Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So you have another scene?
No, I think that's all for me.
Yeah, I think that's all for me too.
Okay, I want to get into my qualms then.
Yes.
This movie, so one of the things that I've learned in this process is I can't watch trailers at all, because while I understand the purpose of trailers is to entice people to see the films, I feel like trailers, and I don't know if this is a new thing or not, because I'm just getting back into watching movies, trailers give too much away, but also they show the best parts of the film.
Yep.
Right? When you see these trailers and you get the concept of the sub-dom relationship, it gives that it's going to be steamy. Like you said it's an erotic thriller.
Yes.
Erotic. When I hear the word erotic, I have an image in my mind. And they were there, but they didn't go far enough.
Not even close. Not even close.
But I mean, like in the setup, right? In the setup, like you gave the setup of like, okay,
sub-dom relationship.
Of the sub-dom relationship, when you're in the fancy hotel room, you are sitting laying back and you tell Nicole Kidman's character to strip.
Yep.
You get her to strip. And then when she's like, I don't want to do this, you're trying to bring into concept of the fact that he's new to this and he's young, so he giggles and you just back off. I'm like, no. Like, if you really want to set up that Samuel is a dom in the relationship, you need a full send it. I don't need this to be the coming of a dom, right? Like, this is not the coming of a dom story. He is the dom, she is the sub. Give me that. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
Because that's what your trailers were giving.
I agree. And I think there's a few issues with the characters that I find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like, the three main characters is Rami, Samuel, Jacob. Rami is Nicole Kidman's character. Samuel's the intern. And then Jacob's the husband, right? So,
yes.
With Rami,
Wait, there's a fourth main character.
Yes, but we'll get to that later.
Okay.
The three main characters are these three. So, where the film goes. So, like, if we're thinking about, like, the characters and, like, their process or, like, what they want type thing, Rami, she is stuck on the fact that she can't orgasm with her husband, okay? Because she's into, like, BDSM stuff. And, like, you know, she wants to be a sub and she can't share that with her husband. It might have something to do with her backstory of being in a cult. We don't really see that.
Which they did a terrible job. They kept bringing it up and then never established
Period. That. I needed them to go back and explore that, period. Because I needed more context for us to actually enjoy the movie. And I'm like, there was so much time in this movie that I feel like they didn't use it. So why didn't we go back and look at that? Because I need to know the backstory. That was
also an issue. That was also an issue with Past Lives, where it's just like, what is with movies having so much time to give you nothing?
Yeah, it was given nothing a little bit. So that's one issue. And then also additionally about her character, she's like, what I'm into is so dark. It's so dark. And it's like, girl, you just want someone to put you on your knees and treat you like a dog? Like pet your head?
See, but that's the thing. I don't think that's the case. I think she wanted more, but we never got to develop into that.
That's what it would seem like. Because if you're saying I'm into dark things and then you're satisfied with this young guy just having you get on your knees and feed you a cookie. You see what I'm saying? You see, like, that's why I'm saying, like, there's an issue with the structure of that character. That's one.
Yes.
One character, right? So then for Samuel, he is a dom, but he's also, like, confused. But he's also, like, not serious about it. And he's, like, wants to be with her. And he consents that she wants to be with him. But you know what I mean? Like, he's not...
Yeah.
I feel like we needed to work on his character a little bit more. And especially, like, the scene in the car that you mentioned. It made him seem like that was triggering for him from, like, his childhood type vibes. Because he was acting like a little kid. And so it's like something about that triggered him. And so I needed more of his backstory as well. Like, what's up with him to where he's this way? And I feel like if I were to change one thing about this movie, it would be his demeanor. I wish he was more just like a straight up dom and he would take things serious and then have things fall from there. So that's my issue with Samuel. And again, we had more time, so let's go into his backstory. And then Jacob. Jacob seems like the perfect husband. I feel like there should have been more there to where, like, I don't know. I just feel like nobody's perfect, but they really made his character seem like goody two-shoes perfect husband.
Yeah, I think the reason why, though, is I believe they wanted to make it seem as though that the only reason why she would ever consider doing this is because of a lack of communication. Like, his flaw was that he was too good, you know?
Yes.
Because she tried to, before she started going to Samuel, she tried to get him to go a little bit more into that BDSM.
But yes.
And he was just like, why would I do that? Like, that's so wrong. Like, that's not who I am. You know? So I think that was something else to kind of tie into it, that it's like there wasn't anything inherently wrong with her husband. It's just that where she wanted him to be a little bit more, I guess, rough, he wouldn't do. And that was the only thing. And there's like a lack of compatibility in their sexual relationship.
And that's the issue for me because, like, one, I feel like it's not realistic to have someone be perfect. One. Two, girl, you guys have been married for however many years. You have your oldest daughter is like 16.
A high schooler. Yeah.
You've been married for 16 years, and the best that we've seen you do, and this is like the culmination of your relationship, is say,
yeah,
hey, can you try to do XYZ? Oh, it's not working. We're done. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or her saying like, oh, you've never made me orgasm ever, and then taking it back half a second later.
Yeah.
Like, girl, that's the best you did. So it's like, it makes it hard to sympathize with her, and then it also makes her, it seemed dumb. Like, you know what I mean? And then, it made it to where it wasn't believable anymore for me. And that took me out of the film.
Agreed. And I would say, like, I don't believe it wasn't anything about the actors. It was definitely it was the way that the script was written. Because I believe that Nicole Kidman and Harris Dickinson did the characters justice based on how they were written.
That's what it seems like.
Like, I don't think I could say anything about them as actors. Like, they did what they needed to do. It just wasn't what I wanted from the film overall.
I agree. Yeah. And then now, if you have nothing else to say about those three characters, we can talk.
I'm so ready to move on. I'm so ready to move on.
Thank you. So let's talk about the fourth main character.
Oh. No, Chanel's ready to move on to the next film.
Not film. Hold on. We'll talk about the fourth main character and then we'll move on because I'm over it too. Because one thing we're going to do is talk about black people. That's what we're going to do in the movie. Yes. You know what I mean? If there's a black person, we gotta discuss it. Look at the name of the podcast and then two and two together.
Right.
So the fourth main character is Esme. Wow. And
Esme.
This is played by Sophie Wilde. Wow. Shouts out to her. Cindy put two and two together for me that she's the main character in Talk to Me.
Yes.
Shocker. I just watched that film and did not put two and two together at all.
Which is so funny because I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah. So thank you for letting me know. She's a fantastic
You're very
actress. Welcome. Fantastic
she
actress.
She is. Wow, I really like her work.
2 thumbs up for me. But her character in this did not make any sense to me. It really did not make any sense. And I feel like this is the same, like with the other 3 main characters, like each of them have things that just don't make sense to me in the plot.
Her character was giving that she was just there to push the plot.
Yes. Like, that's it. She's the catalyst and like,
exactly.
Forces them to break up.
She doesn't serve anything else.
Yeah. And so I'm like, girl, why are you... Okay, so your goal is you want more women in the workplace that Nicole Kidman is the CEO of. So yes, you're going to identify that she's having an inappropriate relationship with Samuel, and you're going to blackmail her into giving you a new position, a higher up position, where you can force her to do your will and bring more women onto the team. And I'm like, girl, you went that hard for that? I don't know. It just felt weird. But here's the
thing, though. I don't think it was weird. I think it was warranted, personally, because the only reason why I say that is Esme and Samuel had a relationship. Samuel was like, well, if you can have a husband, I can have a girlfriend, right? And Nicole Kidman's character Rami was using that against Esme. Like every single time Esme, like throughout the entire movie, Esme is trying to have a conversation with Rami about progressing in her career. Yep. And Rami on multiple occasions says, I'm willing to talk to you. I'm willing to talk to you. I'm willing to talk to you. When they finally have that moment, Rami uses the entire time to tell her that what she is doing is inappropriate, and that if she continues this relationship, it will hurt her career. Yeah. In my personal opinion, it gave a threat. It gave, if you continue to date Samuel, I will fire you. That's what it came. Yeah. She was blackmailing her, and then Rami proceeded to leave that conversation, but the roof text, that was who she was talking to, right? So what Esme did, I don't think was necessarily wrong. It was obvious Rami wasn't willing to listen. And as Esme was stating, you're making a mistake, but that's not what I want to. I don't want to ruin your life. I don't want to ruin your career, but I want you to finally start listening to me because I've been trying to talk to you for months about me and my career, but you've been so focused on your relationship with Samuel and my relationship with Samuel that you're not giving me the time of day.
Yeah.
And I want my time, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it felt weird to me because number one, in real life, a CEO like that would destroy you. Like, let's be real.
Oh, of course.
I'm like, that's not making sense. And then number two, Miss Esme, your whole thing is women empowerment, so you're gonna blackmail a woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It feels like you're.
That's the script.
What is
that's
it called?
The script.
That's hypocritical of you to blackmail a woman into doing the right thing. And so, you know what I mean? So that's why
I'm not saying it's right, but I'm not only for black women's rights. I'm
black
also
women's
for
wrongs.
black women's.
Yes,
exactly. So she's
fine
justified
with it.
in my eyes.
I wouldn't say if I was in this story, I wouldn't say anything. But when we went to lunch and dinner and we're on vacation, I'd be like, "Girl, that's a little hypocritical." But I guess if you like it, I love it.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, because of the writing, her character didn't really do much, didn't really give much, and that's the overall issue with everything with relation to the characters in this film.
Absolutely.
In my humble opinion.
Period. So now,
are we ready to move on?
I've been ready. Please. I'm so sorry. I had high hopes for this. I thought it was going to be a solid movie, and it did not.
It fell flat.
It fell flat. I'm so sorry.
It fell flat. But let's talk about a movie that didn't fall flat.
Oh my God. Femme. And I told you, Cindy, when we were picking movies for this, I watched the trailer and I was like, Cindy, we're watching this film. It's going to pair well with Babygirl. And it's going to be a banger. It's going to be a banger. I know it. And I was right.
You were right. You were right.
I'm so happy.
Yes.
So
do you want to give a general synopsis of the film?
I'll give the general synopsis for this film. So Femme is about a drag queen named Jules. I forgot their stage name, but their real name is Jules. And they just finished performing, and then they go to a convenience store. Okay, this is set in England. I don't know if it's London, but some part of England. And so they go to a convenience store, and they run into some thug type guys, you know what I mean? Riff raff, if you will. And so one of the guys, they're yelling at her and saying, random things to kind of make fun of her. And then she responds back and basically says, hey, to the other main character, Preston. Hey, I saw you at the drag queen place outside of it checking me out. Like, if you want to get with me, you just get with me. She said something like that. You know what I mean? Something cheeky. Yes. And so Preston gets pissed off. Okay. Jules pays and tries to, quickly walk out and walk back to the drag queen club place. But Preston and his boys catch up to her and they beat her up. Okay. Pretty brutally, on the ground, kicking, punching. They were bleeding.
Brought out a knife.
Yeah, a whole knife, everything. So Jules was attacked. Okay. Yes. And so after that, we have a time skip. And so it's after
it's a couple months, right?
Yeah, I think it's a couple months because they physically recover. They have not done any more drag shows, and they're kind of withdrawn from life. They don't want to hang out with their friends. They don't want to do anything. And so Jules ends up going to it's like a spa place, but it's where men go to hook up. A sauna. Yes.
A sauna.
So where gay men go to hook up. And so while they're there, they see Preston.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Is he gay? Is he on the DL? Oh, who would have guessed? Wow. And so Jules is instantly has a reaction because obviously they're traumatized.
Of course.
And so,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, they're just watching them. And so eventually Preston ends up going to the lockers and Jules follows him in there. And he's just standing there putting stuff in a locker or whatever, acting busy. And then Preston's like, come on, come with me. And they end up getting into his car. Okay? And from there, Jules basically decides to expose Preston. Like, they come up with a revenge plan where they're going to expose Preston. I'm going to get a pornographic video of him having sex with me so that I can put it on the internet and ruin him. That is the kind of setup to the plot and where we go from there. And I think that's enough because
I could, I could talk about it for a while.
I was afraid you were about to give it I thought you were about to give the play-by-play. I was like, oh, she's getting detailed.
I know. I was like, I'm getting so detailed, but I'm like, okay, let me just stop there because that's all they need.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
That is all you need.
That's all you need. This will have spoilers, okay? Stop watching this. Stop watching this. Go watch it. Go watch it. I think I watched it on Hoopla. I think. Go watch it on Hoopla.
I watched it on a streaming service, I thought.
Did you?
I watched it on Hoopla.
Oh, it might have been Hulu or something. Wherever it is, I don't care if you have to pay money to watch it. Go watch this movie.
It's worth it.
Report back in the comments. And then come back here and finish discussing with us and be in the know. Because this film is that girl. It's that girl. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to need you to watch it. Thank you.
It is so good. Yep. Okay.
Scenes. Let's go.
Favorite scenes.
You go ahead and start it.
I have to say, well, it's okay. So I'm going to just say scenes that I had reactions to. I'm not, because me saying that this is a favorite scene seems kind of wrong.
Oh, yeah. But just scenes that you enjoy. People enjoy, bad things happening to characters. There's a reason we have conflicts in movies. So
I didn't enjoy bad things happening to Jules, but I have to say, when the movie starts, like you said, with Jules antagonizing a bunch of drunk and angry men and ultimately getting attacked by Preston.
Yep.
I literally was up out of my couch yelling at her to take off her heels and run.
Because
babes,
because you see them approaching.
She is in what looks like 7-8 inch heels, clicking, clacking on the cobblestone. And I'm saying, you just said something cheeky, which I believe you have the right to do.
Period.
But I don't even care. Take those shoes off and run. You have a head start. They cannot catch up. Take it off. Use those shoes as weapons.
Please.
They're sharp. So that scene, that for me, I literally was out of my seat yelling. I was like, oh my God, go. And then when Jules ultimately got beat up, I was like, oh God. Shame. Oh no, poor Jules. So that for me was a scene that just got me out of my chair.
Yes. So for me, the next scene is one that we kind of already covered. So the sauna scene was, I was like, oh, that's him. What you gonna do, girl? Yep. What you gonna do?
Yep.
And the way
she did not pass the vibe check.
No, absolutely not. But the way that homeboy, he sat down next to someone or whatever, he sat, Preston, sat down, and then somebody else approached him like, hey, you want to da-da-da? And he was like, get away from me, get away from me,
don't
instantly.
Touch me. Yeah.
What's wrong with you? You think I'm gay? Aggressive. I'm not gay. What are you talking? And I was like, oh.
As he's in, but you know what that sauna is for.
Yes.
You know what that sauna is for.
Gay
so why are you...
on the projector. You know what you're there for. Everybody knows what they're there for. And so I was like, oh, this energy, he is always angry. Yeah.
Yep. Always.
What you got, Cindy?
Always. A scene that I it was when their DL relationship, because he can't come out and Jules also cannot tell his friends that he is pretty much dating the person that abused him.
Yeah.
So it's one of their rendezvous where they're pretty much having sex in Preston's car, and Jules is working on getting the video to put online. So he starts recording and Preston catches him. And he goes pretty much what the fuck you doing? What are you doing? And then grabs the phone and throws it on the ground and smashes it. And ultimately, I'm feeling fear because I think Jules is going to get caught. Mind you, Preston does not remember that he attacked Jules.
Yes,
he has no idea
point.
that it's a key thing. no clue, which I feel like speaks a lot, because typically when you have bullies, you have people who can be traumatized by a person, but then as people get older, the person who did all the traumatizing doesn't have any recollection of the stuff that they did, because what the action that they didn't have any effect on them.
Yep.
Right? To him, it could have been like a Tuesday, but to Jules, that's something they'll have to live with their entire life. But anyway, Preston goes ballistic, and Jules in that moment is trying to like figure things out, and on the fly she comes up with a lie, being like, it's not gonna be for everybody, it's like, it's for me, it's a thing that I like looking back on stuff like this, but I apologize, I should have asked. Right? And oh my goodness, this is so bad. I know this is so bad, but like I feel for Preston. Like, I know I shouldn't. Because here's the thing about the film. As the movie progresses, because that scene of him attacking Jules happened so early on in the film, it makes it easy to forget. Like, there's a sense of anxiety of him remembering and like doing something to Jules, but then at the same time, him not remembering and him fully being vulnerable, not able to understand the emotions that he has, and falling in love with somebody. It seems so innocent and so pure that you want to root for him. Like, yeah, that's scary. Nobody wants to be outed. And the question is, it's like, yes, he attacked you, but is the punishment really to out him?
Yes.
Especially given the like environment that he's in. Like, is that really the answer? And you're like kind of sitting there going back and forth with your emotions, like, as to whether or not you think he deserves it. And in that scene, I fully felt that Preston didn't deserve it. Oh, which is so bad.
So bad.
And I'm fully aware that it's bad. But like, again, you know?
Yes. And so,
but that scene.
Yeah. And I will cover a few scenes because they're all along the same lines.
Okay.
Because it's like the development of their relationship. So before the scene that you're talking about, we have the scene where I think they just met, and they go back to his apartment when his other friends are not there at the apartment for Preston.
Or they're not supposed to be there.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be there. And so, you know, they're about to get it on. So rough, so extra, like immediately Preston is very rough. Like, I was like, this is traumatizing. And imagine Jules who got beat up by this person. Re-traumatizing. And then they are interrupted by the friends coming home. And so he's like, stay in here. Do not come out. And you're like, bro, don't go out there. But he's in the apartment. So what is he going to do? And so he puts on some of his clothes and walks out. And he's like, hey, what's up, bruv? Like, he's just trying to, you know, fill out the vibes and try to act straight and like not be, you know, outed.
Yes.
And so he gets away with it. Hallelujah. And so that was like their first interaction. And that should have told you, Jules, why are you going back to that man? But the revenge, you know, revenge will take you to certain places. So they go back. So another scene is the one, this one killed me. And I remember texting you like, oh, I can't believe Preston just did this. So when they go out, they went out to dinner together, and he was so sweet and and I'm like, why is he so sweet nice. All of a sudden? And then they end up going to like the middle of nowhere, like a forest, right? And then they end up banging it out near a tree. I was like, okay, I guess. And then Preston got into his van and left homeboy there. He left him.
Left Jules in the forest.
I was like, oh, that's insane. What is wrong with him? But and you know, they continue the relationship. He's like, I got home okay. I'm like, bro, stand up. Please, Jules.
And Preston didn't say anything.
Nothing.
When Jules was like, I got home okay, Preston didn't say a singular word.
Not a singular word. Nothing. Wow. So those were kind of like the lead up to the one where he tries to catch him in the act. And also just to double back on
catch him in the act. Oh yeah.
Yes. Where he's recording him having sex with him in their car or in his car. Just to double back to that one, the reaction of Preston in that moment where he finds out that homeboy was recording, the energy was so interesting because every time we see this man, he is irrationally angry and he's ready to punch someone in the face at any moment. He did not get punched in the face. I was shooketh that he did not get punched in the face, Jules. And so he got really angry. He like ran away or not ran away, but he walked away, deleted the thing off the phone, gave it back to him and was like, please, like, don't do that, man. And we were like, okay, so maybe he has a different side of him. Compassion? Yes. Wow, you didn't murder him? Wow. So it's like, you're kind of realizing like this is not all Preston has to offer is anger and hostility and like disconnection. He's like slowly starting to get really connected to this man as we see that continue. Go ahead, Cindy.
Yes. Okay. So this is a little baby scene. So I'm going to do, I guess, I'll talk about the scene leading up to this scene.
Okay.
So pretty much you get to the point where it's like Jules is getting in with Preston's friends and is kind of picking on Preston and teasing him and being rough with Preston.
Yeah.
In a way that Preston typically is with Jules. And Preston is very turned on by this.
Oh my God.
And so it kind of mirrors their first encounter where Preston is pushing Jules around and then brings Jules into his home.
Yes.
But now you have Jules pushing Preston around, taking Preston into takes Preston into Jules's home. And they sleep together, and Jules is able to actually record it.
Yep.
Like Preston allows him to record it this time, right? So that kind of leads up to it. But the scene that I personally really enjoyed was the aftermath, when Preston is integrating himself into Jules's life. He's having breakfast with his roommates and his friends. And he seems very comfortable with it. And he seems very happy to be there. And it seems as though that even though his sexuality is something that he's scared about, Jules is the reason for him to be open about it.
Yes.
And the scene that I enjoyed so much that I rewinded it like 10 times, Chanel, was when Jules and Preston were like at Jules's front door, and Preston is leaving, right? And they're just like talking in the doorway, and Preston's like, "I'll see you later." He gives Jules a peck, and then he leaves. And it was just the cutest and most wholesome thing that it made me forget that Preston is the main antagonist and that the duty and the job on hand was revenge.
Now here's the thing. So I'm about to go over the exact thing you just said, because that whole sequence was so good, from like literally
so good.
Watch this movie. I don't know how to tell you, because that whole span that you were talking about, I was like enthralled the entire time. I was jumping up and down, like screaming. I was texting you, like I was like losing my mind that entire segment. And that's like 30 minutes of the movie. I was losing my mind.
I could honestly, I need that 30 minutes framed. I need it framed.
I'm ready.
And I'll watch it forever.
I'm ready, because just to go back to where you were. So he, essentially they were trying to have time alone again and whatever. They ended up running into the friends again. And so Jules starts playing it cool. He like starts playing Switch with them, and they're having a good old funky time with the thugs, in quotations.
Yes.
And so then the thugs invite them out to go to the club.
Yes.
And Preston's like, no, we're good. We're going to go. And Jules is like, shut up. He doesn't say that, but it felt like that.
I want to go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. If you don't want to come, you can stay, but I'm going.
Exactly. And so that energy switch was everything. It was everything. Like
everything.
The most satisfied that I felt in a movie in a very long time. Okay. Thoroughly. And because they are in the club. You feel me?
Yeah.
And why did Jules start putting his hands in the downtown of Preston's no Square area? I was like,
the way you described that.
Okay. PG.
Yeah.
And Preston was just taking it, girl. He was just taking it. And then after that, he got up and started dancing with a honey. Okay, Jules got up, started dancing with the honey. He's like, what you gonna do about it? Hey, I'm that dude. Hey,
making eye contact with Preston the entire time.
Crazy. And Preston loved it. He did. Loved it, girl. And then after that, I can't remember exactly when it happens, but Jules basically says the same thing that Preston said to him early in the movie, which was, good boy.
Right.
Or
pretty
like,
much.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. I was like,
yep.
I was absolutely shooketh. And then when they go back to his place, like you said, and then they film the video, I was like, damn, he got him to willingly film this video. Crazy.
Yep.
And then after that, when they were together, they were having breakfast with their friend. Same vibes. I was like, if we could have, like, it just makes you think, if this was a different scenario and Preston was he just got help, they could be so great. They could be a wonderful couple. And just because of him being homophobic vitriolically, it's not going to happen. And that's the only reason why. And it just makes you go, that's so unfortunate.
Here's the thing. I truly believe that I and maybe I'm wrong, and feel free to tell me if I'm wrong. Because there's we'll get into it. There's many reasons why I root for Preston. But I feel like if you just took out the beginning of the movie with Jules getting attacked, I think that the movie would have been like, it would be a love story, because I don't think Jules going to the sauna place was anything out of character for Jules. Like, it seems like a place that Jules has been before. So if Jules had gone to that sauna the same day as Preston, I still feel like there would have been a connection. Like, because Jules saw Preston before their drag performance, right? So if Jules never went to that little convenience store to get cigarettes, there still would have been that connection of, I've seen you before. And I think Preston wouldn't have been so antagonistic, because we find out that in the movie, Preston's friends purposely goad him to get a reaction, because they like to see him angry and
lash out at people,
aggressive, violent and aggressive.
Yep.
So I feel like they would have had that interaction, and I think the movie would have gone more into a love story if you just took out that 15-minute section of Jules getting beat up.
You see, but I'm also curious. I still feel like, because of let me just say what I'm trying to say. So I feel like the only reason why Jules entertained Preston is because Jules was traumatized by Preston. I feel like they have a trauma bond, and that's the only reason why Jules gave Preston time. Because a person who's not traumatized, to where they have either from like childhood attachments and whatever, you know what I mean? Like, someone who's not traumatized would not be interested in a person that would take them to dinner, have sex with them in the forest, and then leave them there.
Well, that's true.
You know?
But then at the same time, I feel like the roles could have been reversed a little bit, because I think ultimately, if that happened to Jules once, you would have gotten what happened at the end, with Jules being the one in control. I think ultimately we would have skipped all the part of Jules trying to play to what they think Preston needs, and ultimately would have just been authentically themselves, because that's what Preston was attracted to.
Yeah, but I don't know if Preston would have allowed that, because I feel like the only reason why Preston and Jules were able to get there is because Jules was trying to suck up to him, and so he didn't act, in quotations, as gay as you know what I mean. Like, he had to like change himself to get into Preston's circle and maintain that. If Jules was himself, we already know what happens when Jules is himself around Preston. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't think...
That's fair.
But I understand what you're saying. If it was a completely different story, yes.
Yes. All I gotta say is, Kim, I don't know if you have any more scenes, because I would like to just talk on the actors. Oh, the ending. Yeah. I think the ending scene is probably a good one to talk about.
Yeah, that's the only other one I could think about. Yeah, that would be that I'm, for time. That's the one that I think we should talk about.
Okay.
You see, and Cindy, I understand you.
Yes.
I understand you. It hurts your heart to know that Preston and Jules could have been a thing if Preston was not who he is, an abusive, horrible person.
Yes.
Like, there's goodness inside of his heart, but he's just so traumatized and hurt and all that stuff from whatever went on in his childhood and God knows what else.
Yeah.
He's been to prison too, so there might be other things that happen in prison and
yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, he's so hurt within himself that it's not happening. And so to see the culmination of what we knew what was going to happen from the beginning was very hurtful. It was very sad.
Yeah, it was sad. I was really hoping that the relationship that they built, that like
would make a difference.
I was hoping that Preston would have grown and been like, hey, I didn't know that was you. And I understand why you did it.
Oh,
it hurt me.
Cindy, we didn't even say the one part. Oh my God.
What part?
When they're in bed together and Preston says, hey, why do you have the scar on your head?
Oh my God.
Tell me who did this to you and I'll mess them up. Whatever.
Yeah.
Girl, that part hurt my soul because you're the one who did it to him, Preston. You did it.
Yeah. But it's crazy. But in that final scene, you're hoping for growth and it's not there. And Preston ultimately tries to kill Jules. Like, works very, very hard. There's like a huge battle. And ultimately, like, it starts from inside of the dressing room of the club that Jules just performed at for their birthday. It's their birthday.
Yes.
And then it kind of moves to outside where Jules is bloodied, Preston is bloodied, and ultimately it ends with Preston. Like, the fight ends with Preston in a fetal position crying.
Yes.
Like, actually fully sobbing. And Jules literally has to just drag themselves back home, bloodied and bruised as well.
Yes. And
finally showing like the end of the relationship.
And just more context on that.
Yeah.
It just makes me sad to talk about.
These feel in like my mind, the movie people. Does not end the way that it. Yeah, no, the movie ends. It's a happy ending. It's a happy ending.
I wish. But yeah, it feels like this happened to like real people that I know, and so it makes me actually sad.
And I was rooting for.
But so Preston was invited by one of Jules's friends / exes. I don't know what's going on there, but whatever.
Yeah.
He's invited to the birthday party, and that friend knows that it's gonna make something blow up. He doesn't know to what extent, but he knew what he was doing. So he invites him to the birthday party.
He's a terrible friend. Terrible friend.
Invites him to the birthday party. Homeboy shows up with a present. He's trying his best. They're in a gay club, and this fool is homophobic, okay? So he's trying his best, and then he sees...
He honestly is trying to change himself for Jules. That's the thing. He has fallen so deeply in love with Jules. He's like, the person that I was is terrible, and I'm happier when I accept myself when I'm like this with this person that I love.
He's trying. He's trying! But it's not enough. So Preston shows up. Jules gets on stage and basically gives a whole, because they're a drag performer. So they give a whole monologue, basically making fun of his and Preston's relationship and like explaining everything that he did and yada, yada, yada. And so Preston is rightfully angry. That makes sense. But he goes to a place that's scary.
That you shouldn't go.
So Jules goes back to the dressing room, and then what Cindy said happens. Preston is waiting for him, and it gets bloody, like Cindy said. And like the main thing that I think was interesting about the ending is the fact that, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be misremembering because of the sadness that I felt in my heart. It's to the point where Preston is on top of Jules and he's strangling him. And I'm like, is he going to kill Jules?
Yeah.
And then he ends up letting go and then like crying in the fetal position at the end as, Jules walks off. And I'm like, that might be the catalyst to get him to change. It might. We don't see, we don't know.
It might be.
But I'm hoping in my heart for Preston that's the moment where he goes, okay, there's something wrong with me and we got to change. I'm hoping. And then I guess we could just talk about the very, very ending when Jules gets home and he sees the present that Preston got him before the incident.
So Preston ended up, so the sweatshirt that Jules takes from Preston when the first time they like have the rendezvous, when the roommates come up unexpectedly, is what seems to be like, I don't remember the brand, but let's just say Supreme. It looks like a Supreme type jacket, and Preston is like, that's a dupe, right? And And so he's like, it's a dupe. It's not even that great. And you kind of get more of his background where he's really into fashion. He's really into clothes. And he's ultimately working with these men, like the drug dealing, in order to help push off his own business of kind of selling and like doing resale of like high brand clothing. And so the entire movie is talking about how his wardrobe isn't real, but he hopes that when he becomes more successful that he can switch his clothing from like more of like the off brand to the real brand. And the gift that he gives Jules is the same Supreme jacket that Jules stole from him, but it was a legitimate thing.
Yes.
And he signed it with a kiss, like with the little X next to his name.
Oh my God, bro. This part, and then the movie ends. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was traumatized because it's like that gift just tells you they could have been a good thing. They could have.
Yeah.
They could have. But Preston, what
It's
is
another
wrong
coulda,
with
shoulda,
you?
woulda.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. It's like, please, bro. And you know that's good for him if he could just accept himself. Please.
Yeah.
Please.
But anyway, I would like to transition into acting and the actors, please and thank you.
That's what I gotta say about the acting.
Tens across the board.
Across
Tens
the board.
across the board.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Let me just say, Nathan Stewart Jarrett, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. You did everything you needed to do and more. Thank you so much. George McKay, are you joking?
Yes. Wait, pause on George McKay.
A different person. He became a different
How
person.
is it that I watched the entire film and you texted me, George McKay did a great job, and I said, there's no way in hell that's George McKay.
Absolutely.
That's not him.
That's him. That's him, girl.
I had to go and look at the credits. Whole different person. I have never seen him act like in the way he did that role. And he did it so, like, that's how you know someone is an actor. How am I watching you on my TV for like, I think that film was like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, something like that. How am I watching you for 2 full hours and I didn't even know that was you.
Nothing.
I had no clue that was you.
Nope.
The whole time.
Nope.
Like, it's a character that's so different than who he was. And applause to like the hair and makeup team. Like him slicking his hair back and getting a neck tattoo. Like, those two things really change a person. I did not recognize him.
And the energy.
And the way he carried him, he did such a phenomenal job.
Insane.
It reawakened my love for him as an actor. Like,
Insane.
I love George McKay as an actor.
Anything he is in, I will watch from now on.
Yes. Same with Nathan. Anything that, but what I desperately want, if there's anybody out there listening to me, take McKay and take Nathan and put them in a rom-com. Please, I beg.
Make
That's all
up
I
for
need
this.
Please, to mend my broken soul.
The chemistry was
they have such great chemistry.
Insane.
They have such great chemistry.
Absolutely insane.
Oh my God. It speaks. Oh,
beautiful.
I might need to watch that movie again.
I'm gonna have to watch it again.
I really need to.
Because
I really need to.
Why would you make a movie that good?
That movie is so good. Oh,
why would you do that?
And you know what's crazy? A movie that's that good that we didn't even hear at all. Like, even though we weren't following the awards during 2023, I didn't hear a singular thing about that movie. I hadn't heard about that movie until you said, I saw the trailer for this, we should watch it.
Yep.
And I'm actually upset that that's the only way. Like, I could have, if it wasn't for the fact we were going to do this movie bonus season, I would have gone my entire life without seeing that film.
Exactly.
And I feel like that would have been a crime.
A crime against humanity.
Yes.
Go and watch this film.
Truly. Please.
I
wish to know. Please
I'm
watch
begging
this film.
you.
Please.
It's so good.
Yes.
I adore. It's cinema. Cinema.
Yes.
Period.
Truly.
I'm enthralled. We were literally jumping up and down and texting each other in all caps.
Yes.
The entire movie.
It's so good.
Absolutely wild. Common themes.
I don't even want to disgrace this film. Do I? I don't even want to. With the common
there
themes.
are common
I don't even
themes,
want to. There are, but like Femme just does it so much better. You can talk about them. I'll listen to you.
Okay, yeah, I'll just go over lightly.
Yeah.
So
you know, BDSM, I feel like those are two similar things. We literally have a scene where in Baby Girl, they say good girl. And then in Femme, they say good boy. I was, oh!
That's true.
But you see, in Baby Girl, I was like, okay, move on. In Femme, I was like, say it again!
See, Femme took it where it needed to go.
It really did.
Femme, it understood the assignment.
It held nothing back.
Understood the assignment.
A+.
Yes, truly.
Absolutely. Yes. I think that's all I got. Let's move on.
Yeah, please. I don't care. I don't like. So okay, so we from our previous episode, right? We put Challengers as number 1 and Past Lives as number 2.
Yes.
Where would you put Baby Girl? Above or below Past Lives? Because we know it's not better than Challengers.
It's going below Past Lives.
Agreed, 100%. It's going below. So now, Chanel, where does Femme go?
Okay, I think Femme has to be number 1. I'm so sorry.
Agreed.
It has
100%.
to.
I was about to fight you.
And here's the thing.
I was about to fight you because I thought you were going to say Challengers is number 1, but I agree with you 100%.
The thing. When I first watched this film, I was like, same level as Challengers. But the more we talk about it,
it's better.
There's something in it that just makes it better. I feel like
cocaine.
I think it's the crack cocaine. Yes. Speed. Maybe.
Yep.
But I also think it's like the stakes are a little bit higher. And so it makes it more like energized in that way.
Yes.
Than Challengers.
100%.
It's more like Challengers feels more like a slice of life than Femme does. Film feels like a film.
Agreed.
You know?
Yes.
So I think for that reason, it just squeaks out like literally by a few hairs. Like that's it. It's really good.
And the thing is with Femme, the reason why I would say it's better in it than Challengers is because it left me wanting more.
Absolutely.
I feel like Challengers,
I got it all.
It was good, but I think I got everything I needed to get from Challengers.
It's a complete story. It's done.
Yes, but Femme,
I think about these characters.
If it literally Chanel, if they just did a little
slice of
if
life,
they gave me a Past Lives and gave me a couple years later, just so I could see what they're up to,
please.
Yes,
after
can you imagine
Preston goes to therapy.
Oh, right. Preston went to therapy and he's in a happy relationship. Not necessarily with Jules, but then comes back to apologize to Jules. And then Jules doesn't have to accept the apology. But at the very least, they are at a... that's all I need. I just need it. I need it.
It lives in your brain.
But that's not the film.
So good.
It does. It will forever live in my brain. Like that, I think it's crazy because it's not a film of 2025, but it's a film that I'm going to be taking into 2025. That film was just so good. I'm telling you,
I'm about to get on DVD or Blu-ray. I don't even care because
I should do the same thing. Honestly, I need my own copy.
Because it's that good. I'm so sorry.
It's that good.
Period.
Okay, so before we close out, our current rankings are: Femme is number 1, Challengers is number 2, Past Lives is number 3, and then Baby Girl is number 4.
That is correct.
Wonderful. Wow, I'm so glad we agreed. I was afraid you were going to say Challengers for number 1, and then we'd have to have... I don't even know if we discussed what happens if we disagree on a ranking. But I guess
we're just going to have to argue it out, and someone's going to have to get
right. Cross that bridge when we get there.
Yep.
But we agree now. Femme, please.
I love me some
Listen
Femme.
to Chanel. Go see the movie.
Please.
See the film.
Even if you listen to this whole thing, go watch it. And let me know what you think.
You don't know when these scenes happened. You don't know how they happened. You don't know their interaction. You will feel all the feelings. Happen. Yes.
Period.
Please, I beg. But anyway, this was a good Chanel. I was about to say these were good films. No. Femme was a good film. Baby Girl was just happy to be participating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a bad film, but participation trophy.
It's not great either.
Yes,
truly.
Anyways,
but okay.
We love Nicole Kidman.
Talk to you later. Oh yeah, love to Nicole. Same to you, Harrison.
Yes. All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Is someone knocking on my door? Hello?
Open the door. Open the door. I'm filming a podcast right now. Goodbye.
Bye.
You want to say hi to the podcast?
No, thank you.
Okay, bye.